So Tom Kmiec, Member of Parliament for Calgary Shepherd. I am the founder and co-chair of the Parliamentary Friends of the Kurds. So I was hosting on Parliament Hill, along with the Parliamentary Friends of the Kurds, a movie based in the region where Shangal is, northern Iraq and Kurdistan, one Yazidi family against ISIS. And it was just the story as it was told by the Chatto family on what happened to them and their experience both during the war with Daesh and then afterwards their escape to Germany. So our relationship is always getting better, like year by year. I think we're making improvements. I was just told earlier today that we finally have a kind of a mini office in Erbil. There's actually a dedicated staff person now. It's not just a trade office, it's actually connected directly to the embassy. So that's a starting point. It's getting better. It's something I've been asking for many years now to be done. I think a people-to-people relationship is getting better as well. But what we're always looking to do as the Parliamentary Friends of the Kurds on Parliament Hill is to build a parliament-to-parliament relationship, which is deeper. It's one between legislators, and that's what I was talking with Representative Bayan earlier today. That's what we're actually talking about. Finally, it's taken us many years to get to the point where I think we've reached a comfort level where we're going to try and organize a trip of Canadian parliamentarians to Erbil and to the region to visit and see for themselves, and then have the experience of meeting both legislators, government leaders, and community leaders. Well, what I always tell, especially Kurds, of whatever part of Kurdistan they're from, is that they're not alone. There are people who are paying attention to it. There's something I'm always told, the statistic is over 40 million Kurdish people worldwide. It's the largest ethnicity in the world without their own state. I'm of Polish origins. I'm an immigrant to Canada. Polish people for a long time, for over 100 years, didn't have their own country. And you can always have a country. The Republic of Mahabad was a Kurdish republic in the 20th century, and who says it can't happen again? And there are people out there who are advocating for the right to autonomy, the right to independence, having your own country, but it's always baby steps. It's a building block process of getting to the point where you have the rule of law, and where you have solid civic institutions, and a solid civic society that's willing to sustain a liberal democracy. And that's what I'm saying. We can get to that point. Let us help you build it, and we'll see how that develops over the next few years. So I never like telling foreign leaders what to do or giving them suggestions, because it turns out I'm often either off base. You never know enough about the local political culture, so you always want to be sensitive to the locality that you're in. But my best advice is always, and I've seen this time and again from leaders from different countries who visited Canada, who've sat down with parliamentarians, corruption undermines your civic institutions. It undermines the people's faith in the political class, and it also undermines people's willingness to participate in the future and the electoral process. I think the democratic process, liberal democracies all across the world, are strengthened when you clamp down on corruption, reduce it as much as possible, and restore faith that people should have in the institutions become their own and don't belong to the political class. That's the most important thing. It's the basic building block of a liberal democracy that can sustain itself. And you have countless countries in Eastern Europe and Central Europe. You have countries all across the world that have made that transition very, very effectively. And it started with a strong fight against corruption, against unethical, immoral behavior while in public office. Those are the basic building blocks of building faith in civic institutions. So, our relationship during the fight against Daesh, against ISIS, was very much a military relationship. So Canada, along with other allies, was seeking to support as much as possible the fight that Kurdish Peshmerga units were delivering against enemy units, basically. Now that that's over with, and ISIS and Daesh, as far as I know, no longer has any combat units that are effective, there's an entire kind of post-war, and reconstruction period that needs to begin now. So the biggest thing I think for us to look forward to is how can Canada lean in, and what are the economic opportunities, what are reconstruction opportunities, but also what I've countlessly been told many times is those who have suffered the most human rights abuses, depredations during war, the best remedy for them is justice, and we should be assisting as much as possible in the governments in the Kurdistan region in ensuring that people are brought to justice, and that those who suffered, those who had horrible things done to them, who were treated immorally and unethically, that those people who are responsible for it are punished.